Hello, campers. It's an interesting day. Happy Father's Day, first and foremost, to those who have got kids and doing the dad thing. Happy Father's Day to you guys. I'll be honest. I mean, I've had a really good day on that front, except for Elijah insisting that we play a game and then promptly forgetting how to play the game, having got everything set up. So that was an interesting one. But look, before I crack on, I just want to thank my amazing wife, Felicity, and Cal and Eliza for just being the best little family that I could have possibly wished for. So let's get the important stuff out of the way first, shall we? A note to all our families. My friends, if you are a dad, then good for you. We've at least got plenty to be grateful for on the home front if we've had the fortune of becoming a dad. Now, gang, current state of play. Let's rock and roll through this. Current state of play in Victoria. I've got it scrolling across the bottom there, but just to quickly go through it with you. So, Metro Melbourne. We are to stay as no physical inspections until the 26th of October. Now, it does, though, mean that you can still do things like, your final inspections in which you can get your condition reports done. You can commence leases still. So all of that sort of stuff on the PM side is still in play. On the sales side, you can complete anything that relates to the conditions of a contract. So building inspections, pest inspections, file inspections, buyers can attend their final inspection. That is the only time that they can visit the property. Okay. So please make sure that you stick to that. Make sure you're doing all the right stuff and everything. So we can still move forward as we have done in Metro Melbourne up to this point. And then from the 27th, and this is all pending on levels being, as they are, whatever you want to call them. From the 27th to the 23rd of November, we will then be doing a private inspection only, still only running online auctions, okay, until the 23rd of November. I am going to be climbing the walls big time on that one. And then hopefully, fingers crossed, from the 24th of November all the way through, we'll be able to hopefully run limited attendance at opens, limited attendance at on-site auctions. On the regional side of things, well, you guys have been faring a little bit better. Thank God someone's doing all right. And you guys can stay as you are for the time being until the 26th. At that point, and as you can see, like I said, I've written it in the little tab below, in the little ticker thing below. So I'll keep that going throughout the whole feed. And then so from the 27th to the 23rd for regional of November, that is regional, you can have limited attendance, auctions, and opens, all being well. So, gang, doesn't feel like progress, really, does it? It really, really doesn't. And before I crack on with anything else, I just wanted to make mention that I completely understand and empathize and am in the situation that a hell of a lot of business owners find themselves in. Me being an auctioneer, that news is not ideal for me. So, gang, I completely get and understand and appreciate and feel the stress that it is causing from a financial point of view. Everything that I talk about from here on in is bearing that in mind. So please take note of this, because I do need to make sure that everything is put into context here. So I want to go on record as to saying that I am in the same boat as a hell of a lot of you, okay? I'm not preaching upon high. It's not like I've got masses of income flowing in from anywhere. So this is coming from me on the same level as everybody else that is struggling, okay? So that's part one. Now, gang, first thing we need to talk about is who are we fighting for? So there's obviously loads and loads of uproar. And again, I get it. I understand it. I agree with pretty much all of it. Okay. But as an industry, we've got to be very, very careful as to how we broadcast that angst and, discourse and anger. How are we broadcasting that? Are we broadcasting that from our own opinions because of our own businesses? And again, I get it, and I know, and I feel. Or do we need to really push incredibly hard down the path of making sure that we're looking after our customers? That, for me, needs to be the one tune that we are all singing from. If we're going to be actually heard in any way, shape, or form by the powers that be, we have to be hammering home the impact that this is playing on our consumers, both owner-occupiers that have sold and haven't bought anywhere, and the settlements are coming up soon. They are like full panic stations because they've got nowhere to live. We're looking at landlords who have had no rental money since like March or something. We're looking at tenants that have been having to go sight unseen on everything that they're looking at, or if they might have given notice because they were hoping to buy and now they can't buy. Our consumers need to be at the forefront of everything that we communicate, gang. If we start banging the drum of our businesses going under and all that sort of stuff, which they could be, right? But the powers that be aren't going to pay attention. They're just not. The hospitality sector is a damn sight more screwed than what we are right now as a sector. But our consumers are up there, the ones that are at those sort of knife edge moments, those real tipping points, they are up there with the most in danger of being completely shafted in a big way. We have to have all of our communication lines come from the thought process of working for our consumers. We have to. I know that my mate Rob Osimo has put on there about maybe the industry looking at taking a class action against the government. I personally 100% agree with it, but we shouldn't be doing it until we're back in the game, in my humble opinion. We have to be focusing wholly and solely on the impact that it is having on our customers. Knackered landlords that, until March now, for God's sake. Owners that have sold that haven't got anywhere to go to. Owners that are desperate to sell because they might be separating, going through horrible scenarios. They are going to be some of the highest risk individuals in our state, bar none. Okay? For a lot of small businesses, things like moving or selling their home or something like that is going to perhaps be the only way for them to stay afloat. So that's what we need to be focusing on, gang. And then, look, we can go to town afterwards with regards to taking action against loss of income and loss of earnings and so on and so forth. And I will wholeheartedly, back that in whatever way I can. Of course I will. But until then, until we get up and running again, we've got to be thinking about our consumers. We have to be talking consumer first. We have to. Otherwise, the government are going to pay zero attention because the likes of the hospitality industry, they are much more at the precipice than what a lot of us are. I personally feel. Okay? And I think that's a matter of fact. So please, gang, if you're in the real estate space, be it PM, sales, coaching, whatever, please direct all of your concerns and your anger and your angst around our consumers. Please, for the love of God, because they're the ones that are going to be completely annihilated type shafted if we don't try and exert some sort of change. But it's the only way that government's going to listen. It is. Okay? So that's part one of what I wanted to talk about. A quick one. This one got on my tits. I'm not going to lie. This one got on my tits in a big way. All right? A note to those who took aim at the Toothless REIV. Comments like that, Toothless. Comments like people who are at the table at the minute clearly aren't doing a good enough job. all of these comments seem to be coming from people that are quite happy to sit in the bleachers and shout from there. When's the last time that any of those types of people, any of those people, and if you are one of those people that put one of these comments, I hope to God that I hope you realize this is directly at you. When's the last time you stuck your hand up to get involved? When's the last time that you actually went to Camberwell, reached out to the powers that be it Gil, be it Leah, Adam Docking, Robin Waters, any of those people? When's the last time that you guys actually stuck your hand up to do anything about it? I got this mantra on stuff like this, and I've said this to a few people privately. If you're not prepared to do something about it, then you've got no right to whinge about it. If you're just going to sit there behind your keyboard and take pot shots at an institute, which until COVID happened, you couldn't have given a shit about anyway, but now they seem to be the only ones that can solve your problems. How does that work? The Institute, the REIV, have been busting their arse to try their best to get things to happen. They are fighting a big, big battle. Lots of other industries are having the same issues. They ain't the only ones at the table. And now they've got to fight from inside as well. They've got to fight some arseholes who are happy to sit there and bang on about the fact that the REIV have done nothing clearly. It's all bollocks. Have you been living under a rock? I'm not having it no more. For you lot that just love having a good bitch and a moan and then fucking go hide in your posh second-hand cars, your second-hand Mercs, your second-hand Beamers that are jacked up to the hilt. If you're not prepared to get in that car and go and do something about it, go and actually invoke change that will actually help our industry, shut the fuck up. Because I'm not having it anymore. And there's a hell of a lot of people that aren't having it anymore. You're either part of the solution or you're part of the problem. And if you're part of the problem, shut up. I'm done. I'm done with the backseat whingers. I really am. If you're that angry about it, stick your hand up to get involved and do something about it. Until then, shut it. We don't need to be infighting at a time like this. We need to be collective voice. And you guys trying to divide and conquer from within is not helping no one. All right? You can tell that my English starts to get a little bit more rough and ready when I start to get worked up. You don't want to see it go any further. All right. So that's that point. Next one. Where to from here? Now, I can't profess to have the solution. No one can. And I am not coming on here, like I said, preaching from up on high, like I'm in this cloud of a position where I'm not being affected. I 100% am being affected. But this is the one thing that I want to talk about when we're going through this whole thing of where the hell can we go to from here. It's safe to say that we can now trust, and this is what we can trust the government for, we can trust them to be them. We can trust them to be inept. All right? We know at least they have been consistent with that. Okay? And this is me looking at the silver lining over the cloud. We know that we can trust them to be who they are. All right? And I get that the angst and the anger, you want to get it out of your system, right? And voice your opinions, and because we don't want to let them get away with it. Of course we don't. No, and I do absolutely concur with that. They cannot be getting away with the actions that they've taken. But you've got to think about who is most important here right now. The most important people right now are your loved ones and yourselves. The most important people right now are your loved ones and yourselves. I had a friend from a networking chapter, and she is at her wit's end. She really is. And I can't blame her for it. I can't. And we are all running on real low now in terms of our mental energy, health, and well-being. We are operating on low levels. The gauge is heading towards the red zone if it's not there already. So the energy that you do have left needs to be reserved in finding solutions. The internet, your phone, if you're really, really struggling from an income point of view, your phone can be an avenue for revenue generation. The internet can be a revenue generator. It can. You've got to try and reserve what energy you have left mentally, physically, whatever it is, emotionally, to figuring out how to get some money coming in. Please, please understand. I agree with all of the shit that's being thrown at the government. I do agree with it. But right now, all I give a shit about is my wife, my daughter, my son, and my friends. They are the people that I'm going to be focusing on. Fuck Dan. Screw Dan Andrews, right? We can take aim at him once this is done. And we will. He will be held accountable. But again, we've got to try and make sure that we're okay first. Don't exert what energy you have left emotionally on getting angry at a dude that has been consistent this entire time. Consistently shit, granted, but at least we know which way he's going to go. So with that in mind, park it for a second and focus on what you can do to get money through the door and to stay in a mentally stable frame of mind. That is what has to be done. And then when things do get up and running, then we can sharpen our saws. Then we can sharpen our pitchforks and all that sort of stuff and go to town on the government. Because let's be real, Dan Andrews is just one person. He's the focal point, which we're all aiming at. But there's a whole bunch of people that are accountable for this. And I don't want any of them skulking off scot-free. None of them want to be getting away with any of this. But until then, gang, we've got to stay together in one piece. Because anger breeds anger. It's any type of energy that you carry will breed more of it. And it will happen at your home first. So if you walk around angry with a big cloud over your head, wanting to get one up on the man, it's going to rub off on your family, on your children. Please bear that in mind. All right? Man, I am in all of this with you. I am. But we need to look after our home front first. Then when it's all said and done, then we'll go and kick off. All right? Let's have a look at some of these. Let's have a look at some of these comments. Oh, look, I can trust Joe to come up with something like that. On the sales side, gang, there are people that are doing it. There are people that are getting results still. If you want to know who they are so you can give them a call, text me, DM me, and I will look to connect you with the people on the front line that are still getting sales. Any sort of help we can do. What else have we got here? Kate, thank you very much. Luke, how are you, man? Hey, Andy, what do you think of the REIV announcement for moratorium on negotiating rent relief in good faith? I want to start by saying with the thing that the REIV put out, one thing that I do want to start by saying is that under no uncertain terms should we be leveraging our clients in order to get our way, if that makes sense. That is not why the REIV have put this moratorium out. I've already seen a few smart asses having a crack saying, you know, typical real estate agents using their clients as a make weight or whatever you want to call it. Textbook, right? You could give them a pile of gold and they'll still find a dog shit in it, right? They just will. Those types of people that can't be fucked with. The one big thing that we need to make sure that we do have with this, my friends, is that we do not let landlords feel that they are being made to be the meat in the sandwich between ourselves and the state government. We really can't be doing that. I asked my wife this. I asked Felicity about this because she's obviously a PM with lots of landlords and what have you. Been in the game for a long time. She knows her stuff. Top operator in that space. And I asked her what her opinion on it was. And she said that on one hand, you want to do right by your landlords and just make things easier for everybody concerned right now. But on the other hand, there's a hell of a lot of landlords that are bending over, that are having to bend over unnecessarily right now. They are. It's like landlords are damned if they do and damned if they don't. So it's how quickly can we invoke some action that can make anything any easier for landlords? And no one has the answer for that. So the moratorium that came out, for those of you that don't know, by the way, for the moratorium that came out, for all intents and purposes, basically a call to arms from the REIV suggesting that any rent reduction negotiation is to be pushed straight to VCAT to try and break an already overloaded system so that they can't avoid looking at it. It doesn't help the people that are already stuck in the system, right? It doesn't. Will it invoke change? Well, they have to look at it. But please, gang, don't just do that without any form of explanation to your landlords. You got to be calling all your landlords now. You need to be calling all your owners now. Okay? Connection is vital at this point in time. But your landlords need to be made aware of their options. If it was me, I'd be saying to them, look, we don't want to use you as a battering ram in any way, shape or form. We need to try and invoke some change. This appears to be our last resort because they're not listening to us as an industry. Why would they listen to real estate agents anyway? You know what I mean? This is part of the problem. Okay? So, Luke, that's kind of my opinion on it, is that it's tough, man. It's a really tough call. But what else can we do? Landlords are screwed either way. They are. And which is the really, really shit thing. Landlords and sole traders, for mine, it's almost like they don't exist. in the government's eyes. Landlords and sole traders, and bearing in mind, sole trader right here, by the way, we've been forgotten about. Okay? So landlords, ultimately, if anything's going to change, it's going to have to come from consumers, because the industry, which has been trying to be like a battering ram, are just not being listened to. And that comes back round full circle to my original point. It has to be consumer-focused attention that we are broadcasting. Has to be. All right. What else have we got in here? Martin, well said. We must approach from the consumer angle. Thank you, my friend. Ty, making some good points. Thanks, my man. Hope you're well. Kurt, you're either part of the solution, part of the solution, or part of the problem. You must have written that as I was saying it, mate. We are peas in a pod, and I did get your voicemail earlier. I was too busy being a dad. Dave Stewart, I've just got to put him on here because he just loves being on here. Bless him. Linda, 100% agree. Maxine, we need to show Consumer Affairs and VCAT that as a real estate agent, we are all in this together. Mark Sewell, it's easy to say we won't let them get away with it, but the reality is governments have been getting away with it since its inception. Not disagreeing with you there, my friend. REIV have the right idea, something actually useful, Dave. Thank you. Yeah, the REIV have the right idea. Max pressure wherever we can. Cameron, it's no good when unions go on strike tactically, so we can't withhold services tactically to our clients as form of leverage. It's no better than a union strike. And mate, that's where my wife was sort of suggesting, and I am inclined to agree with that element of it, right? We don't want consumers to be completely even more shafted by us going down that path. But let's think about it, right? A landlord can either drop their pants now or go and have a crack at Consumer Affairs, at the REI, at VCAT. My wife did successfully manage to stop a tenant from taking the piss, basically. Went through Consumer Affairs, then through VCAT, and then actually got the right result for her landlord. So I think when more of us need to go down that path, she did it for the right reasons, clearly, right, before all this came out. So I think that's what we need to really, really think about. Kirk wrote it before. Well, mate, bless you. All in this together, my arse. Well, look, Linda, this is where we need to go. We need to, for those of us that do want to get something done together, we need to make sure, gang, that we rise above these muppets, these dickheads that have got nothing better to do with their lives other than to take pot shots of people without actually providing any sort of worth. Okay? We need to rise above that. We need to not pay any attention to any of that. Do not get drawn into these stupid arguments with these stupid people. We haven't got the energy to be dealing with it. We only have the energy to be trying to make better things happen for ourselves, our loved ones, our clients, our customers, our friends, our families. Okay? So, gang, anybody that is really at wit's end, please DM me. I'm not going to lie, this will be the last time you see me today on social, because I'm going to go spend time with my loved ones, because I just want to do that now. It's been a really fucking hard day for me, and a number of you will know why. But if any of you need any help in any way, shape or form, if you are at wit's end and you just want to have a vent, feel free to DM me and we'll organize a time so that we can have a proper, I can lock it out in my diary, and then we can set some time for you to vent, for you to stress. If you want to have a cry over the phone, you're more than welcome to. If you want to do a Zoom so we can be a little bit more connected, more than happy to. Okay? Last word. This is about our clients, our owners, our vendors and buyers. We need to implement all of the pressure across the different areas. I know not everyone will agree with the moratorium, but it will add pressure to the government and its services that are already broken. That pretty much sums it up. Cameron, I've just noticed your comment there. But we're being asked to do that en masse with the intention of screwing up a government system. It's just wrong. I think that's what you're trying to say. I don't know what we are supposed to do, but I reckon there has to be a better way. Mate, look, my friend, I completely, and I totally get your sentiment. I really, really do. Like I said, my wife, I said to Flick, so I asked her, so are you going to do it? And she said, well, she goes, well, look, if I can get something resolved really quickly, I'm going to find it hard not to get a resolution for my landlord. And I totally understand where she's coming from. All right. But gang, please, if you are going to talk to your landlords about this, don't just blanket say, nah, not doing it, because that is a union strike, right? Where they just go, nah, and they pick it, right? That's a union strike. But we need customers to stand up for themselves now. We need to stand alongside our customers. That's the position that we need to take. Customers front and center. Us acting as we're supposed to be the gun from which customers need to fire. Okay? All right. My friends, just do what you can to stay as strong as possible. Try not to exude energy unnecessarily, and I'm talking from an emotional point of view here. Try not to exude emotional energy unnecessarily. Okay? I'd get in touch with your landlords, get in touch with your vendors. Even if it's just a message, even if it's just an SMS to them. Okay? And gang, any of you want to reach out, I'm a pretty easy guy to find. DM me, and we'll organize a time to catch up either on a Zoom or a phone call or whatever the case may be. Okay? Can I say something, though? My first reaction to it, because you could have predicted what was coming, right? My first reaction to it, I was just really, really fucking glad that my daughter's going to actually get to go and experience part of her first year at school. I was actually really, really happy about that. So, gang, I know it's hard and I'm not preaching. Try and find something positive to cling on to. That was the first thing that I went to. My daughter's going to get to actually experience more than just one term of her first year. My son, who has spent a quarter of his life in lockdown, being only 2 years old, just turned, he is actually going to get to go and experience what it's like to be with friends. And on Father's Day, that, for me, was what I was focusing on. Right, and gang, please, 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 stay safe, stay healthy, but the most important thing of all, please stay happy. Love ya.